Hey everyone, it's a snowman. Welcome back to the collection. This is part two of the Bon Jovi series from the 2000s up to 2024. Let's do it. Hey everyone, it's the snowman with Too Loud, Too Old Music.com. Welcome back to the collection. This is the part two of our Bon Jovi vinyl series. The first one we did from 80s up to the 90s, and this one we're going to hit from 2000 and go all the way up to today. And most of it is going to be about this box set that they released. So Bon Jovi in 2000s is a very different Bon Jovi from what we knew in the 80s and the 90s. Now there was only a 5-year gap from the 1995 album These Days to what seemed like a comeback album for the band in 2000. And that album was Crush. So here we have it on vinyl. And then it's a very nice gatefold, whole bunch of stuff in there. Now the vinyl is just black, um, nothing on the sleeves, very simple. Um, but the Crush album was a very different, a much more pop album than what we had heard. Their style had changed a little bit. They became more modern and they were trying to fit in because what was really popular back that time, you had the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Britney and Christina. You had all these kind of teeny boppers running around, and Bon Jovi was trying to come across and fit in that new world for them. MTV was actually very receptive to them, and I remember seeing "It's My Life" on the MTV. And not that I watched MTV in 2000, but I heard Bon Jovi had an album out or a song, and so I watched for that. But it was just really different. It's a very energetic, It's My Life was a very positive, energetic rock arena anthem. It was what they are very good at. And I think and they were smart in their video. They were in the video, but not much. So it was a different style for them to make sure they fit with this new generation by not really being the focus of it and having a storyline in it. And I think it helped connect them and bring them to a whole new audience. And this was their seventh studio album, and it came out on June 13th, 2000. It's My Life was the big hit. Just Older and Say It Isn't So were some of my favorite tracks, but there really is a ton of good songs on here. The next 100 Years and Captain Crash and the Beauty Queen from Mars, and I said Just Older, I've already said that one. And One Wild Night was a big hit. There are just a ton of good songs. And they even had a big ballad on here, Thank You for Loving Me. And they always have to have a ballad. It was a very, like I said, a very good pop album. And sort of a different direction for them. And this is my Crush album that I got with the box set, and it is still nice and sealed, like most of the others are. All right, then we come with their next album, and that one and from 2002. So October 8th, 2002, we get Bounce. Um, to me, Bounce is no different than Crush. It is to me Crush 2.0. He found a formula that worked. It's My Life, that did really great. He continued, made sure he had some rock anthems on here. He made sure he had ballads. He found something that was working and he stuck with that formula. But here we go with the insert, and it's just black vinyl. Nice label on the vinyl. Um, but it was just a single version, not a 2 LP set. And then here is the bounce. This is my box set version that's still sealed Bounce. This I liked this album. I don't know if I liked it as much. I think I gave this one a 3.5. I'd give Crush a 4 easily. But this one actually has a little special place for me. My kids were growing up. Um, they were just being born, and I was a big Bon Jovi fan. So I was still listening to Bon Jovi when they were really young. And one of the songs that my kids just loved when I would play it in the car, and that was the song Bounce. And I think they liked it because, it almost says the F word, but it doesn't. And then it was just real catchy, real anthemic. Um, so I think I hear that song and I just hear my kids in the back seat singing along. So I have a special place for this one. And it is still a good album. Like I said, it's a 3.5. But it's got good songs like Bounce, Undivided, um, Every Day. You Had Me from Hello, which is a big Jerry Maguire ripoff from that line from that movie. Uh, and then Open All Night, Misunderstood. Just a lot of really good songs on this one. So not quite as good as Crush, but a pretty valiant effort. And I think the album did really well. Again, they found a formula. That's crucial for what I'm saying. Because on the next album from 2000, September 20th, 2005, we get Have a Nice Day. Very simple emoji kind of style stuff. Um, nice gatefold, but the sleeves are just white, no inserts or anything, and the albums is just black. So nothing stand out about that part of it. Here is my box set version. This one is still sealed, of course. Because see, I bought some of these before I bought the box set. So that's why I have two copies of a lot of these. Well, this is the last one. Well, almost. I have one more later in their collection, but this was the last one I bought. After this, we'll talk about that. But let's talk about Have a Nice Day. Um, Have a Nice Day, the song, the title track, is identical to It's My Life. It's that same rock anthem, that same catchy, positive energy. You can do it kind of attitude. A lot of their songs from this point forward are very positive, very, I don't know, rah rah, you can do it kind of stuff. And it does get old after a while, but they're really good at these rock anthems like Have a Nice Day. They're great, great songs. Um, I really like Last Cigarette on this one. I like Novocaine, Welcome to Wherever You Are, and Last Man Standing are some of my favorite tracks on here. One of their biggest hits from this was um, Who Says You Can't Go Home? And there was a duet on that one. There was a regular version. Then they did a duet with Jennifer Nettles from Sugarland, and it did very well. And it kind of got him an idea that, maybe we should add a little country flavor to our music. Now, they don't do it on this album except for that one song, but it is a sign of something to come with the next album. Um, and haven't mentioned, but John Shanks is the producer, and he has been for these albums. Ah, and I'm not very, these albums were produced very well. And up until this point, they're great. I gave this one a 4.0. I like this one a little bit better than Crush, which I didn't know I would. When I start through and did my review series of them, I was thinking Crush was my favorite from the 2000s, and that's it. Actually, I really like this one more. It's got just a whole better set of songs for me. But John Shanks is not he's not forcing the band to try something new. I think he's more of a yes man for John, and he'll do whatever John says rather than help out with improving their sound or making something sound different because these three albums sound the same. Luckily, they have a lot of good songs on them, so that's okay. But with John getting the idea of let's go country, maybe someone should have been there to say, no, that's probably not a good idea to do that. And that's when we get to June 8th of 2007. We get Bon Jovi's Lost Highway. Nice album cover. I'll give it that. I like that cover. Very good. This is the sealed copy from the box set I do not own. I had stopped buying with this album. So I don't have a second copy of Lost Highway. It is not their worst album. You know, there's some worse ones, but I only gave this one a 2.5 out of 5. It to me became very tired, very boring. Um, this is where the bad streak of albums came from. This is where I think Richie Sambora thinks that they started becoming dull and lifeless. And he said he probably should have left earlier than he did. Um, and to me, this is the start of the downfall of the Bon Jovi that I grew up loving. Um, there's a lot of songs on here that are just okay. Uh, they've lost some authenticity with this one and lost a little bit of my respect with this one. Um, it's just not something I'm going to pick up and listen to very often. You want to make a memory? Lost Highway is okay. I mean, there's some decent songs on here, um, but for the most part, I'm just not into it. They have a song with Big and Rich, country, with Leanne Rhymes, country, and there's just a little bit too much country and not enough Bon Jovi rock in this one. Now, I get a band needs to stretch their wings and try different things. This just wasn't a very good effort at doing that for me, at least. Um, so then after that, well, we get in 2009, we get The Circle. This again is my sealed box set copy. Since I don't have another copy, maybe one day I'll open it. If I didn't like Lost Highway, well, guess what? I like The Circle even less. Instead of 2.5, I gave this one 2 stars. So you can kind of see that this is it's just bad for me. I think again, Shanks is the problem, letting him do things that he probably shouldn't be doing. They're not pushing the songs enough. Um, I don't know. I'm just think it's more of a retread. Um, it's very tiring. Too many rah 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 songs. I just don't think the writing is as good as it used to be. Um, it's boring and it's dull. Um, so I kind of think Sambora is right. So after this one, they released the Greatest Hits album, and I'm so excited because they finally released it on vinyl. It came out on Friday, and I just got it about 30 minutes ago before I started this set. I was waiting for it to come. This is the Bon Jovi Greatest Hits. Um, for everything, let's see, it's got a nice gatefold. Um, mine is Amazon exclusive vinyl, and I haven't looked at it yet. So I did pull it out, but I didn't look at it. And it is this smoky, clear, translucent, I guess, um, vinyl. It is really pretty. The colors that are mixed in with it go with the cover. I like that. Uh, and as far as greatest hits go, it's a decent greatest hits album. It doesn't have a lot from the first. I don't think it has anything from the first 2 albums. Yeah, it does have Runaway. So far, I was wrong about that. But it just has a little snippets. It's probably got what, 9, 8, 10, 16 songs. And then No Apologies and What Do You Got, I think, are 2 new ones. It even has John's solo song, Blaze of Glory. Uh, it's a decent greatest hits. Um, it doesn't, they do have better greatest hits albums that have come after this. But I like this one, and it's a beautiful vinyl. Glad I got that one. But that came out in 2009, 2010, somewhere around there, and they just released it on vinyl. So I was really excited when I ordered that. It was like, praying it came so I could do this part 2 video, and it worked out perfectly. I would have done this video yesterday or earlier in the week, but I waited, and so now it's Sunday, and I'm rushing to get it done. Um, All right, so we're gonna go to their next album. This is their 12th studio album. Came out on March 12th, 2013, and this is What About Now. This is a gatefold, but my copy is still sealed, so I'm not haven't opened it yet. Don't know if I ever will. Um, I gave this one a 2 as well. There's this stretch from Lost Highway to What About Now. It for me is just awful. Um, and John Shanks is still at the helm. It's too paint by numbers. It's too predictable. It's too just, and there's a lot of more positive energy songs, which are great. I love positive energy songs, but don't slam them into my face on every single song. They're just all so, ah, I feel like I've heard it all before. They're just trying to be too positive, trying to be too encouraging, and I appreciate that, but a couple songs, let's just give me some variety, give me something different. But it is a great cure for insomnia because it will put you to sleep. So you do have that goodness coming out of it. So there's something positive. Um, there's not one song on here I'd consider a classic Bon Jovi song. Into the Echo, I kind of like that one. And What About Now and Room at the End of the World? They one day those might have a shot at becoming a classic Bon Jovi song, but otherwise, no, no, sorry. Uh, no, no. All right. Then in 2013, for Record Store Day, they released these 10-inch vinyl. Um, there are four live tracks. Um, and these we got Living on a Prayer and Blood on Blood. They were recorded in 2008 for Living on a Prayer and 2010 for Blood on Blood. And then we have Keep the Faith and We Weren't Born to Follow, which were both in 2010 at the New York Meadowlands. Let's just see if I can get them open real quick. And yeah. So, yeah. So there's the one side. And I do like the Bon Jovi thing there. So very nice. So that was one record store day. And then in 2014, they did it again. Um, we get another one. So this is live too. Um, and then a good shot of John. These, and this came in the package. Here's the sticker for the package. It's a US side and an international side. So there were all the songs were from the New Jersey World Tour. US side got I'll Be There for You and Lay Your Hands on Me. And the international side was Runaway and Bad Medicine. And if I'm not mistaken, that Runaway song is awesome. Um, if I can remember correctly, and sometimes I can. Um, so really great to have. I mean, all the songs I think you can get somewhere else. So they're not really, something you have to have, but it's a cool little piece that I'm glad they're doing something at least for Record Store Day and something a little different. Um, all right. So then after What About Now, we do know that during that tour, Richie Sambora left the band. He was supposed to catch a plane to come to the show and he decided not to get on the plane. We all know that. Um, it sucks. I hate that he's not in the band anymore. He was the backing vocals, he was that sound. He was a writing partner for that John needs to change things up. He wasn't using Richie as much. John Shanks had too much influence, and it was just bad. And I'm, good for Richie for doing what he did. He's doing solo stuff, so I'm excited about that. Um, which I don't think that his solo album that came out in the last few years before this actually had a vinyl. So if it does, I just haven't been able to find one. But then they also, about 2015, so a couple years after Richie left, they were doing their final studio album with their record label. They were having record label issues. I guess they were trying to negotiate a new deal and couldn't, but they were still contractually obligated for one more album. And what we've got is Burning Bridges. I have this on CD, and I do have, and this is the box set vinyl. This is the only place, the box set is the only place you can get this on vinyl. This is not for sale anywhere else. This is the reason, one of the reasons why I wanted this set because this was a throwaway album, according to Bon Jovi. But to me, this is one of the best albums he's done since the 2000s. I gave this one a 4. Most people think I'm crazy, but I love this album. And the reason I love this album is because it's not the same crap that he's been giving us on the last 3. This was an album he was angry, I think, and he was just trying to and he just wrote whatever he was feeling. There was no formula I don't think he was trying to keep to. He just was done with them, and I think that anger and animosity and stuff, he put together a pretty killer album. There are some good songs on here. Now, the big song on here that they released, I think, was We Don't Run. And yeah, it sounds like It's My Life and Have a Nice Day, but he does it so well. It's just a great, great track. Um, Saturday Night gave me Sunday Morning, We Don't Run, Teardrop to the Sea, uh, Who Would You Die For? Burning Bridges is just a funny little song at the end where he talks about burning the bridges with the record label, and it's just a fun, funny song and the way they do it. Yeah, John Shanks produced it, but I think, like I said, they didn't care. They were just trying to put an album out, and I think that not caring gave them a great, great album. I know it's silly, but I just think it's a highly underrated album and one people need to check out and take more seriously. Um, so then they get on a new label. Funny thing is, it's part of the parent label that they just left. So they really didn't really leave a label. They just went to a different subsidiary of that label, which is kind of funny. But on November 4th, 2016, we get This House Is Not for Sale. Uh, it's a double album or a double LP, not a double album, but there's a good picture of the band. Got Phil X in there, who took over for Richie Sambora, Hugh McDonald, and everybody. So, um, and then we got this insert, and then that's the album is just a black, but there's the label of the album. This one is not a bad album. I've actually bought this one. See, I skipped those few years. And then I ended up buying this one because I really did like This House Is Not for Sale. Yes, it's like We Don't Run. It's like It's My Life. Yeah, they have all that. They still are going back to that formula now that they're done with the label issues. Um, but it's better than most anything that was on those other albums. The first half I think is really strong. Second half, not so much. I do like Roller Coaster. I like Knockout. That I think helped make this a better album. Now, granted, it's not a great leap forward, um, but it was promising. It was, they still had a little life left in them. And all right, this is the box set version, and it's still sealed. And it is the last studio album that was in that big box set. So, here's the back of it. So that was the last studio album in there. And another reason I wanted that box set because of this. This is the extras LP. So this was a little vinyl that was added to it. It's actually not sealed. It's still sealed, but it's not sealed. Um, this just has a collection of B-sides and rare tracks. You can get them elsewhere, but it's the first time they've ever been compiled into one place on vinyl. So I wanted it for that reason. I think there's just 10 tracks. Someday I'll Be Saturday Night, No Apologies, Neurotica, What Do You Got, Dirty Little Secret. It's got Always from the Greatest Hits Crossroads album, Postcards from the Wasteland. I mean, it's got some really good songs there. They're not great. That's okay. But it was a great idea. You're doing the box set. At least you got something a little bit extra. So the box set was good because it gave me Burning Bridges. It gave me Destination Anywhere, John's solo album. That one is so hard to find on vinyl and so expensive if you do. It gave me that extra piece. So there was those 3 things. Plus, I didn't have, Lost Highway, Circle, or What About Now. I didn't have any of those. So there were 6 albums in it I didn't have. They were very some of them are very expensive, and so it worked out where buying the box set was just fine. And someday maybe I'll get rid of the other stuff. Uh, all right, then the pandemic hits, and Bon Jovi released an album called 2020, and it was very influenced by what was going on in the world at the time. So it's kind of a talks about 2020 being the year, and then hindsight 2020 casts the other meaning behind it. This to me, I'm gonna maybe I'll get some crap, but 2020 is probably the worst Bon Jovi album for me. I only gave it a one. I didn't like the way he was singing the songs and stuff. Now I know that he was having voice issues and his a lot of damage in his throat. He hadn't had the surgery yet. Um, and that maybe that influenced the sound of it and the way they were writing the songs to fit more of the vocal. But to me, it was the same old tired vocals. It was just none of the songs felt really good. American Reckoning, okay, it's not bad. I kind of like that one. Um, but overall, it fell flat to me. Now, the nice thing about the vinyl, I do have the two bonus tracks, Love Can and Shine. Um, then, it doesn't help. Um, Picture of the band, got the lyrics on that side. Oh, I forgot. Here we go. The one cool thing about this one is it is a smoky gold. Look at the way that vinyl looks. It looks all ridgy and like I don't know, just really cool looking the way they did the vinyl. So I'll give them that. As far as the packaging goes, they did a great job of the packaging. Get another good shot of John and and this one is on the same gold with that weird, wild look to it. I think that's a cool vinyl. So that, as far as that goes, the packaging is great. The color's great. It's just not a good album. And I'm sorry, John. I still love you. I still buy everything you put out. Um, I just not a fan of this one. It came out on October 2nd, 2020. I don't think they got to tour for this one because of COVID. And so, it did. I don't know how well it did or didn't do. But that wasn't the last album. Now we have been 4 years since this one, and he had his surgery. Um, and so they've released a new album in 2024 called Forever. It's their 16th studio album. It came out on June 7th, so not too long ago. Um, he hasn't fully recovered, but you know what? He sounds good on this album. So here we have another Amazon exclusive vinyl for Forever. The band has gotten way bigger. We have now John Shanks is now part of the band. Sorry. Phil X is wonderful, great guitarist. Love Phil. Um, so yeah, I don't have. I think it's a good album. I like it much better than 2020. And then the color on this is really cool. Look at that. I like the clear and the black mixture of it. So really great job on the vinyl. I'll give them that. I do like Amazon's getting some cool colors for theirs. I gave this one a three. So it's better than average. I don't know. I was in the mood for Bon Jovi to put out a new album. They put out a new album and they didn't disappoint. Now, granted, it still has a lot of that formula that I've been bitching about the whole time. Uh, but it's good. Legendary. I really like that song. We Made It Look Easy. It's good. Living Proof. Um, The People's House. I mean, and then I like My First Guitar. Some people don't. I know that friends of mine that don't like that one. I like that one. Um, there's a lot of nostalgia on this album, and nostalgia is pretty good. Um, so yeah, if you haven't heard it, check it out. It's much better than a lot of the stuff they've put out in the last 15 years or 10 years, and I was very happy with it. I do have the 7-inch single for Legendary, but this is the full vinyl, so I didn't, even though I did throw the EPs in there. I'm not going to go grab it though. So, but that's the last album that we have. Uh, Hopefully they'll still do more music, even though I don't know how much they're going to tour because I'm not sure his throat. can handle a tour. But he sounded great on this album. Really happy to have him back. I wish them all the best. They're one of my favorite bands and always will be, despite the fact I have a few albums I don't like, and that's okay because it doesn't matter if I like or like. I'm a fan overall, and I'm still going to support them. So you do too. If you have a band you like, yeah, just because I have a bad album, still support them. They'll eventually get you something good down the road. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the two-part Bon Jovi series, and then we'll see you again next week on the collection.